Hi, and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll give you updates on Bitcoin and we'll share some insights from Mark Cuban regarding the stock market, particularly during a downturn. What Mark Cuban does right now is to check if there's anything that's gotten so cheap. He said that it's time to seriously consider starting to buy some, and he dabbled when Ethereum falls. According to him, there are many parallels between crypto and the stock market. There's an old saying in the stock market that everyone is a genius during a bull market when stock prices are rising. But when stock prices are falling, everyone will tell you which stocks they are buying. Everyone becomes extremely quiet. It's similar with crypto. When Ethereum, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies rise in value, everyone will tell you how smart they feel. But when they collapse, no one wants to say anything. The truth is that we must consider the utility or value of any investment we make. Cuban said that we must explain why people are buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin, just like an NFT, is a digital representation of art. It was compared to Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Bitcoin is a digital equivalent to gold. People argue that gold has real value as jewelry. Nobody requires gold jewelry, but the world would not change if gold jewelry disappeared and only a few manufacturing applications exist. However, gold has value because people place a value on it. These types of investments are known as stores of value. They're similar to commodities. Bitcoin works in the same way. It's just that it's digital. It is constrained by an algorithm and the number of instances generated. There is a scarcity factor. You can't just create it forever, and it's easy to transfer as a result. It's simple to use in some cases for cross-border payments between citizens of different countries. So there is some utility, but most people buy and own Bitcoin. We hear a lot of stories now. Just like people buy gold, Bitcoin acts as an inflation hedge. Gold is indeed an inflation hedge. There's actually a lot of inflation. Cuban said that Bitcoin is not increasing in value. Right now, there is a lot of inflation. Gold is not rising in value. They have pretty much stayed where they are. So, we need to understand if we are buying Bitcoin. It's a store of value, and like any other store of value, whether gold or otherwise, its price is determined by supply and demand. When more people are selling than buying, the price falls. It rises when there are more buyers than sellers, and this is the same with stock market. Ethereum has some utility and that it can be used for transactions. Did you know that majority of NFTs are purchased and sold using Ethereum? Therefore, in order to purchase a Bored Ape for 100 Ethereum, you must first purchase that Ethereum. As a result, the greater the demand for Bored Apes, ape coins, or whatever, this is built in Ethereum. The higher the value of Ethereum, the more valuable the token. Mark Cuban mentioned that when he examined any of his crypto investments, he always asks questions like, what's its primary function? What purpose does it serve? Because of this, he owns more Ethereum than Bitcoin. That being said, all tokens, like stocks, have some level of speculators in them. People who are not long-term investors would simply want to buy because they believe it will rise. So when a market loses those speculators, and we're losing a lot of them as interest rates rise, people speculate less now that interest rates are rising. We know it is more difficult to borrow money to speculate cheaply. They speculate even less. As a consequence, stock prices are falling. Bitcoin and Ethereum have dropped in value, but that's the way it is. So at the moment, Cuban is looking to see if there's anything there that's gotten so cheap that it's time to seriously consider starting to buy some. As what Cuban experimented, when Ethereum falls below, say, $1,800, he'll only buy a small amount because it's difficult to predict how low it will fall. He recalls that when Starbucks was just getting started, he hadn't gone all in. People say they'll buy Starbucks and he asks why. It's because everyone he knows goes to Starbucks for coffee. That's indeed a compelling reason to invest in a company. It's the same with cryptocurrency, Cuban said. It's not because everyone is buying it. It's because they're putting it to good use. Like when he invested in a crypto token called Klima, which is now a DAO that purchases carbon credits. The good news, according to him, is that there is a utility there, so he is offsetting his carbon footprint by purchasing and burning them, which adds value. The bad news is, it's down by 99% because fewer people are doing it. Despite that fact, it served the real purpose by allowing him to burn carbon credits and offset his carbon footprint. Because not enough people are doing it, the value may continue to fall. Cuban decided not to sell anything. However, if it takes off and people realize how important the environment is to him, he prefers to offset the 20 tons of carbon he produces each year. For him, that was one of the simplest methods. He now has a lot of money, and if he wants to borrow money, he still needs to go to the bank and speak with a banker because he still needs to sign form and documents. Cuban also mentioned he has money on DeFi platforms. He can use it if he wants to get 10,000 USDC to buy something. He just charged it to its credit cards and can simply borrow and transfer it to that credit card to pay. Then he can pay it back anytime he wants. It only takes 30 seconds to pay the interest along the way. He emphasized that the value is really in the simplification of DeFi. So there you have it, some insights on Bitcoin from Mark Cuban. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and stay safe.